hey, another story about my dreams. So me and Nightmare Machine went out hunting one day, right? Because Nightmare Machine likes to hunt. You know, he's one of them wild dudes. He's like, oh, let's go hunting. And I was like, sure. So we went out, and me and Nightmare Machine went out hunting. And we were, we caught this deer. We were cutting him up, and this bird was sitting in a tree, and he said, why are you violating that deer? And I said, how are we violating the deer? And he said, well, you're sticking your hands in it. And I said, yeah, we're sticking it in its hands in its open cut belly because it's dead and we're going to eat it. He said, ew. And I said, hey, listen, vultures eat birds and you're a bird and vultures are birds. So technically y'all are both killers. I mean, y'all eat worms and you don't call pecking a worm to death violating. And Nightmare Machine was like, calm down. And then the bird seen him and he was like, oh shit. Bird literally just flew away as fast as he could. And I was like, yeah, run, you little bitch. And I told the bird that I was going to come after him. And he was like, ah! He done ran away. And I was like, good. Run away, bitch. We're going to eat this deer. Nightmare Machine said, hey, you want to leave some deer parts all over the bird's nest? And I said, sure. So me being a very good tracker, because Nightmare Machine was recently training me to be, a good tracker, I tracked down that bird after we cut up the deer and we left parts and pieces all over his nest while he was sleeping. So when he woke up, we heard mega screaming. He was like, oh my god, there's deer parts everywhere! Funniest dang shit I have ever heard. The way that bird screamed was funny. And I said, how you like violating deers now? He said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. And I said, I'm going to violate you next. Bro was like, oh, shit. He done got the hell out of there. He was like, nope. He's like, F that shit, I'm out. He done left. He was like, gone. Gone. And Nightmare Machine was like, oh, that takes care of him. He's dead now. And I was like, but we didn't kill him. He said, I know, but he's gone. He's not coming back. Well, that was probably the biggest mistake we could have ever made, because what happened next was extremely, extremely unfortunate. We went to my house, went to sleep, woke up, Nightmare Machine was sleeping on top of me. And I was like, wow. I mean, at least he kept me warm, but he was heavy. And I was like, that's why I was having a hard time breathing last night. I was sitting on your fat ass. So, yeah, I kicked this fat ass off me. Also, he's not really fat. He's mostly just muscle and fur. So, yeah, I pushed him off me onto the rug on the floor, and he was kind of upset that I pushed him off. And I was like, hey, you were squishing me. And he's like, yeah, well, you're comfortable. And I said, so are you. You're full of fur. Sleep on your own bed or wherever else you want to sleep. I don't care. Just don't sleep on me. Anyways, so we went outside to go get another deer, and something fell on my face, and I was like, ew. Nightmare Machine started laughing, and he said, looks like a birdie just took a shit on you. And I was like, oh, no. I was like, okay, who did that? Nightmare Machine was laughing, and then all of a sudden, he got pile on him too. And the bird said, you want to violate me with a deer? Let's just say on that day, we got, shit-stormed. Yeah. Big storm of bird poop had rained upon us, and, was not fun. We were running away. We didn't even bother to run back in the house because the birds followed us into the house, so we ended up running back outside to get away. And we tried flying around. We did end up catching and eating a few to a lot of birds. We liked to eat a lot of the birds, even though they tasted like chicken. So yeah, we were flying around trying to get away from the birds as they were raining a shitstorm upon us, and was not very fun to be shit upon by a bunch of birds. Blech. I mean, it got in our mouths, our noses, in our fur. Oh, it was terrible. Luckily we did escape the shitstorm, but when we got home, my den was covered. And you know what? Then I realized, hey, this was Nightmare Machine's idea to have us put those chopped up deer pieces next to that bird's nest after we knew he was kind of freaked out by it. And I was like, that's probably why he came back and released a shitstorm upon us, because that is what birds do. They shit all over the place. That's all birds really ever do. Is poop. Except for eagles. Eagles are graceful animals, even though they're kind of mean. So yeah, I decided to go back to that bird's place, and I said, hey, listen, I'm really sorry about putting the deer parts on your nest, but it was Nightmare Machine's fault. He was his whole idea. All him. I had nothing to do with this. In fact, I told him not to do it. And then I ran away, and Nightmare Machine's like, you little shit! Because he knew. I just gave him to the enemy. Let's just say when he came back, his fur was no longer black. His fur was pure white and ooey gooey and sticky. And the smell was terrible. Oh, yeah, nasty. So, yeah, he wasn't too happy. He had officially gotten covered in bird dookie, and it was not fun. Being covered in bird dookie does not smell good, but he was like completely covered. Like literally, he looked like he had literally fallen into an ocean or a river of some sort, just full of bird poop. And honestly, I kind of felt bad for him until he started to beat my ass, and he was like, "You little shit!" Oh, I ended up having to run and hide for about 3 days from him to avoid getting beaten up more than I already was, even though he was still looking for me. You know, he wanted to catch me and beat me up because oh, we're getting shit on by a bunch of birds. But honestly, if your friend, gave you away to people or told them that it was your idea and got you pooped on by a bunch of birds, I'm sure you would have done the same thing. Yeah, so when I came out, he did find me. He beat me up, and I tried to fight back. Didn't have much luck. But at least I tried. Anyways, he went back home. He got himself cleaned up. And let's just say, after about 16 or 17 days, he still smells like bird dookie. Like, legit. Ugh. Disgusting. Luckily, that smell did go away at some point. But let's just say we have not messed with that. We have not made too many bird flocks angry since